I'm Josh with Skid Pro. Today, we're taking a look at our biggest, baddest asphalt tool, our high flow cold planer. This unit, depending on the wheel size and the width, comes in from 1,750 pounds to over 3,000 pounds. It's a true monster. Like all our attachments, we build heavy, but this one maybe even more so. It survives in some of the toughest environments day in and day out for hours at a time. Well, so what makes it tough? Let's take a look at a few of the specs where we think it's important to have an extra heavy build. Well, we start with the back quick attach plate. As simple as it sounds, it's heavily reinforced and gusseted at the top lip. We go into a heavy C-channel main frame that the unit slides back and forth on. From there, we have a series of plates, some welded, some bolted together, from the main frame to the drum frame all the way down to the skid shoes. It's 2¼ inches thick in the front, 2½ inches thick in the back. It's easy to see when you look close up on this unit where the weight comes from. Of course the drum, but also just the main frame steel as well. When it comes to functionality on the high flow cold planer, it is 100% hydraulic. That means we need machines with electric over hydraulic functions. Ideally, we need 6 hots coming from your machine. So we have independent depth on both sides, 0 to 6 inches. We have tilt, 6 degrees to 15 degrees, depending on the width of the model. We have side shift as well. And all of that is accomplished stealing oil through a valve block to give our electric over hydraulic functions. If you don't have any machine hydraulics, we can still get you a 3-button controller to run everything from the cab. The main pin that the planer pivots on is an extra large 3-inch hardened pin. But where the rubber meets the road on performance for a cold planer is undoubtedly the drivetrain. That's where the transfer of power from machine to planer takes place. We run a high-end piston motor right into a planetary gear drive. That planetary drive does a couple key things. First, it isolates the motor from shock and vibration. The planetary is more robust than the motor, and so it adds a safeguard mechanism. Also, the planetary takes the speed of the motor and turns it down to deliver more torque to the drum. That's absolutely critical when you're using a ground engaging attachment that is milling asphalt up to 48 inches wide. The third thing it does is deliver weight right over the cut. The more weight over the drum where you need it, the better your performance and productivity will be. Now, there's a lot of options on this high flow planer. We have 18, 24, 30, 40, and 48-inch widths. Let's crack the hood and take a closer look at the drum. We run a 5/8-inch drum in a double V-wrap pattern for maximum productivity. There's a multitude of teeth and width configurations. We have 40 teeth on the 18-inch, all the way up to 90 teeth on the monstrous 48-inch. Our standard drum is a 2.5-inch tooth standoff, which is your distance from the carbide down to the drum. Like all our planers, the rough cut drum comes standard, but a fine cut drum is available. The drums are also interchangeable if you already have a planer and want to buy a drum at a later time It's a simple 1 to 2 hour changeover. We run a standard 20 millimeter Kennametal tooth and a weld-on hardened tooth holder. These drum specs are within the ballpark of many leading manufacturers. We do this particularly when we're competing on municipal bids, which is a very common occurrence for asphalt tools. However, we take a next step with our HD version that very few, if any, manufacturers can follow us. We run a significantly heavier drum that's 1.5 inches. That's industry leading, both in thickness and weight. Like we talked about before, more weight over the center cut gives better performance, and clearly 1.5 inches thickness is going to give you added durability as well. We also have an industry-leading 5-inch tooth standoff. We achieve this by putting a block underneath the tooth holder to give added depth from tip of carbide to drum. This will also increase productivity significantly because it cuts down the drag of the material on the drum and produces better material flow throughout. This bigger drum also gives us a 0 to 8 inch cut depth, 2 inches over our regular drum. We also hard face the side of the drum and the tooth holder for even more durability. Because of the added weight of the bigger drum, we run a 3/4 inch drum housing thickness. This adds strength and reduces vibration. We also give a 3/4 inch thick skid shoe for superior stability. All in all, it adds about 500 pounds on the 24-inch model alone, significantly more on the 48. Last touch, we run 1.5 inch cylinder rods instead of 1.25 on the depth control on each side. Again, more robust durability. Believe it or not, some competitors don't support both sides of the drum. On all of our planers, standard flow all the way up to high flow, we support both sides of the drum with a big bearing on the opposite side and a 2.5 inch drive shaft. All the features we've discussed on our planer, and even considering the HD version that is in a class by itself, the most important thing that really separates us from most of the competition is USA made, US parts availability, and better customer service. Most of the leading OEM brands are foreign made, and they're good products, but they're foreign made with long lead times. And that was before the current supply chain shortage we face in our world right now. We source American parts and inventory them so we can get you back up and running and reduce your downtime. The icing on the cake for this productive work tool is the optional water kit. It has a very quick payback for a few reasons. First, it's very simple and easy to use. It's a ROPS-mounted 40-gallon gravity-fed system with a 1-hour capacity. Second, it gives OSHA compliance on the job site. Third, it will give 25% longer tooth life, which will pay itself back in short order. The last thing that anyone wants to do at the end of the day is manually turn each tooth to ungum them from the asphalt. That all goes away with a quart of dishwashing detergent in the water kit that keeps the emulsion from gumming up on your teeth. It keeps them free flowing and keeps them sharp. Extra large safety steps for easy in and out of the cab, a hose retainer ring for hose management, and a rock solid 1-year warranty round out this productive work tool. If you have questions about our cold planers or any of our attachments, give a product guru a call today at 877-378-4642 or visit us online at www.skidpro.com.